Hi, I'm Jenny, and today I'm going to introduce 4 of the vocabulary words of this biology unit. They are passive transport, active transport, isotonic, and hypertonic. Now let's look at the first vocabulary word, passive transport. The definition of passive transport is the movement of molecules down the concentration gradient. It goes from high to low concentration in order to maintain equilibrium in the cells. Also, it does not require cellular energy. So in the diagram here, we can see that the concentration of water molecules here is higher, and there are fewer water molecules here in the cell. So the concentration here is lower than outside the cell. And this part is the cell membrane. So passive transport means the molecules are moving from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration through the cell membrane. For enrichment, there are several types of passive transport. They are diffusion, osmosis, and facilitated diffusion. And passive transport maintains equilibrium in the cell. Wastes such as carbon dioxide, water, etc. diffuse out and are excreted. Nutrients and oxygen diffuse in to be used by the cell. Now let's move on to the next word, which is active transport. This is simply the opposite of passive transport that I just talked about. The definition of active transport is this type of transport requires chemical energy because it is the movement of biochemicals from areas of lower concentration to areas of higher concentration. So in the diagram here, we can see that the concentration of the molecules outside the cell is lower than the concentration of molecules inside the cell. And because it is moving from a low concentration to high concentration, it requires cellular energy to transport those molecules. Enrichment. There are several types of active transport, including endocytosis, cell membrane, or sodium-potassium pump, and exocytosis. And the types of particles that are transported during active transport are proteins, ions, large cells, and complex sugars. Okay, now let's move on to the next word, isotonic. An isotonic solution has the same concentration of dissolved particles as the cell. So the concentration of molecules in the cell is equal to the concentration of molecules outside the cell. So in the diagram here, we can see that because the concentration of molecules outside and inside are the same, so water molecules move into and also out of the cell. And if you look at this short video here, we can see that the number of water molecules on both sides of the membrane remains essentially unchanged. Enrichment. Water molecules move into and out of the cell at an equal rate, so the size of the cell remains constant, as you can see in this diagram. A 0.9% solution of sodium chloride is isotonic to animal cells. Okay, now let's move on to the last word, hypertonic. A hypertonic solution has a higher concentration of dissolved particles than a cell. meaning the concentration of water outside is correspondingly lower. As a result, and you can see in this diagram here, water inside the cell will flow outwards to attain equilibrium, causing the cell to shrink or even die. As cells lose water, they lose the ability to function or to divide. So because the concentration of dissolved particles outside is greater than the cell, so the concentration of water molecules outside the cell is correspondingly lower, so the water inside will flow outwards to attain equilibrium. And you can also see this short video here. The number of water molecules inside the cell decreases with time, and the cell shrinks as a result. See one more time. For enrichment, hypertonic environments such as concentrated brines or syrups have been used since antiquity for food preservation, because microbial cells that would otherwise cause spoilage are dehydrated in these very hypertonic environments and are unable to function. And that's all. Hope you enjoy my video and thanks for watching. Bye bye.